the stuff on your mind and it's feeling unclear, just hop on the mic and speak without fear. Let's air out.
This video is going to be a tough one. I just got out of the bath. My hair's a mess. My hair like completely changes what I look like, I feel like. Like when my hair's like down in front of my face, I look so like disheveled and I don't like it. But if you're tuning into the video right now, you might see things a little differently. A little different setup today. This is going to be close to what the setup will be like. If you're seeing behind me, I'm at home, which you can't see behind me. I got a screen behind me, a black screen. My sister for Christmas got me a package of white screen, black screen, and green screen. So I got like 3 different colors to choose from. And today I decided to go with black. So just because the basement's a bit of a... I don't want you guys to see the little workout station and that. And plus, if anyone does walk by, it's going to hide them. But also, I can't see people sneaking. All right. I think I'm back. Hopefully that's working now. Sorry about that. I had to take a little pee pause. But yeah, got a new screen to set up some new backgrounds for the podcast. Today's just black, as I was saying. But in the future, yeah, I'm going to get the green screen set up. I have all these ideas now that like, oh man, 2022 is going to be a big year. We're going to talk about that. We talked about it a lot last week, but I think we're going to continue with that theme. And I'm once again all over the place, and I'm going to stick to it. Going to stick to being all over the place because that's who I am. Just an all over the place kind of guy, a renaissance man of conversation. I worked on this program called Blender. I started it like, I don't even think, it might have been 2020. At the start of 2020, I was taking Blender lessons. If you don't know what Blender is, it's like a 3D design program. So what I want to do is create kind of like a background. I want a cool idea of like make like a brick wall background and like a render of it and make like a cool neon sign of my logo. But that's going to take a lot of lessons to learn, but it'll give me something to do in the evenings from now on. So that's one of the goals for... Yeah, I'm going to push my hair out of my face because I don't like how it looks. That's one of the goals for 2022 is to learn some more lessons, do some more things for this channel. You don't like that camera. Yeah, let me get on track. Sorry, it's been a wild holiday, crazy. Got a lot of stuff going on for the Christmas. Been at home, not in the usual setup. Really haven't done anything for this week. It's been a full-on vacation. Spending lots of time with the family. Christmas was real good. Christmas was real good. Yeah, I got everything on my list, which was a little upsetting too. Because I told everyone that I can't afford to get presents for anyone. Like I don't think I have a job anymore. No one at UPS has talked to me over the Christmas holiday, so I'm pretty sure I'm fired, which is cool. That's fine. I'm going to get a new job in January. So I told them, like, I'm not getting you anything. They asked me for a list still, so I gave them, like, a basic list. And then come Christmas morning, I was still the guy that ended up opening the most presents because everyone just spoils me. And then I feel bad because the only thing I did was, like, paint my mom a picture, which she really enjoyed. And that's going to be the first picture in the protein paints, so you'll get to see that maybe next week. I think I could probably do a commentary for that and throw that out next week. So that'll come to you very soon. You can see that painting. You kind of already saw it in the first video podcast. It was behind me. And I, very briefly, you saw it in the intro, and then I hit it with my head. I said it was a painting for the Doodle group for our friends' Halloween. Not Halloween, for our friends' New Year's. And that was just a little trick in case my mom listened to the podcast. Just a little throw her off the scent, a red herring. She doesn't listen to the podcast, though, so it wasn't really an issue. But I did do that painting for the friend group today, and it took me all day. But I'm very excited for them to see that and for them to open it up. Whoever gets it, I'm jealous. I wish I could put this one on my wall, but I'm gonna be happy that they can hang it up, and then wherever it is, if I visit them, I can go be like, that's mine. Or if I get super famous, they can pawn it for a couple bucks if they ever get into a hard time, And I'm like greedy and don't share any of my massive wealth from the podcast with them. So, 2 options there. So yeah, let me talk about my Christmas presents. I'll tell you what I got. What was on my list? A little painting carrier for my brushes and my paints. I use acrylic paints, little like tubes. So I got, stuff to carry that around because I keep my brushes in a mug and I keep my my paints in a plastic grocery bag. So that's been a big step up, moving into the new world, not the game. I got yoga pants, which were super comfy. I've worn them every single day. Like, they're incredible. My mom got them at Costco, so like I want to go back to Costco before then, and like buy more pairs of those, because I want to wear those every day. I want 7 pairs, a pair for every day. They were incredibly comfortable. They're not. When I asked for yoga pants, there was a part of me that wanted like the tight spandex yoga pants, because I just want to know what my butt looks like in those. That's it. That it's a pure curiosity thing, and I feel like they're really comfortable. If girls are wearing them so constantly, I feel like they're not just wearing them because they know that like men go gaga for it. I think there's got to be like a comfort level too, and not just like the shaping of it. So I want to try some on, and I don't feel comfortable walking into a store. I don't even know what size I would buy. Can you even try them on? Do they even make? They have to make spandex yoga pants for men. I have to figure. But it's just, I thought maybe if I asked for it for Christmas, I'd get that. But my mom went the realistic route and got yoga pants that I would actually wear like on a regular basis, and she crushed it. They're great pants. If you go to Costco, look for them. Men, I'm telling you, won't regret it. I got some books. I asked for books on my list. I just sent out my Kobo wish list, and my dad got me a Kobo gift card, and then he got me Jordan Peterson's second book, 12 More Rules for Life, which I'm looking forward to reading. It's a hardcover book, which I really like that. He got me last year. He got me a book called Devolution, which was by the guy that wrote World War Z. And Devolution's about a volcano erupts, and it pushes Bigfoot out of their like hiding ground, and then there's this like community of people living off the grid, and then they go to battle with the Bigfoot. It sounds like corny, but it was really enjoyable, and I really enjoyed that last year. And I liked having a hardcover book to like flip through. As much as I like the Kobo and being able to store like tons of books on it, there's just something about like the physical like process of turning the pages and like knowing, oh, I have this much left in the book. I have gone through whoa, I did not mean to swear. If I did just swear there, this is a clean PG-13 podcast, and I was meant to say I got this far in the book, and you can physically see how far you've gotten. And like when you're in the middle of the book, it feels really good, like holding half the book in one hand, half the book in the other. It's a powerful feeling that you just don't get with the Kobo. But then the Kobo is just like simplicity at its best. I got a ton of books on there. So I bought more books on there. I bought The Gulag Archipelago, which Jordan Peterson recommended. It's all about this is going to be tough because I'm going to butcher the description, but I think it is about it's an account of communism under Stalin from a guy, and it was like very incredibly popular and like eye-opening to like the rest of the world of what is actually going on, and like the people in the gulags and what it was like to live, be thrown in a gulag and be tortured. And then I got this other science fiction book called The Three Body Problem, which I actually have no idea what it's about. I know it's coming on Netflix, and I've just been seeing it pop up all over the place about like how like incredible of a book it is and what a great read it is. So looking forward to reading both of those, as well as Jordan Peterson's book. I got a lot of reading to do. I think maybe 2022 will be the year I can get to 50 books read. This year I did not quite make it. I think I didn't even get to 30. I wanted to get to 30, but I got to 28 books read, which is still, I'm not going to be upset at that. It's the most books I've ever read in a year. Probably, I might have only read 28 books in my entire life before this point, so good for me. Good for me, right? What else did I get for Christmas? This stuff behind me, as you can see. Looking forward to playing with the green screen when I get back to Waterloo and learning how to like chroma key all that stuff and see what I can do with that. I think in the videos for Ethan and Martin, maybe they got green screens too, and we can do more fun stuff. I haven't talked to them about what they got for filming supplies and stuff like that. What else? And then I got some money for skates and helmet for my skating lessons that are starting in a week Saturday. I was worried they were going to be canceled due to Omicron, but they sent me the welcome email today, unless that was just like automated because it's a week like 10 days before or something. And I'll get another email in January if there are more restrictions in place. Who knows? But I'm crossing my fingers because it was something I'm really looking forward to doing every Saturday at 1:45 at Rim Park if you want to come watch me, which you can't because they don't have spectators allowed. So you can just like every Saturday at 1:45 you can like do a little cheer for me. A little excitement. And I think that's about it. I'll feel really bad if I forgot stuff. Oh, my sister got me a drawing book too, which I don't know if I talked about last week, but normally I try and like paint once a week, and I'm not really doing anything else artistically. So actually, before the holidays, I was starting to like look on YouTube for drawing tutorials, and then just without even talking to my sister, she got me this like drawing tutorial book, like step-by-step guide. There's a ton of different things that can teach how to draw. I think it's actually called like How to Draw Cool Stuff, and I like drawing cool stuff. And my drawing skills are very low compared to my painting skills. It's just something different. Like adding color to it just adds so much more volume to my pictures. But if you look at just like my pencil drawings, I am not. It's still like childish, very low tier. Which even my paintings I think are childish. I'm painting at like I'd say like an 8th grade girls level. So which is not bad. That's like 8th grade girls are pretty artistic. Way above like 8th grade boys level. Like there's a few 8th grade boys that are like talented at drawing, but most of us were just atrocious. So I'm proud of that. And I think this year will be a good year to see my painting progressing, as well as lots of other aspects of myself. So, we also, like 2 years ago, my sister got me Catan, Settlers of Catan, the board game, and on Christmas morning, we sat around, like 2 years ago, we sat around reading the instruction manual, trying to understand the game, and we gave up because it was just so frustrating and confusing. Like, we don't know what's going on. It's so hard to tell. And we just, like, put it away and never touched it for 2 years. Until I came back home on Christmas Eve, and I was like, hey guys, guess what? I know how to play Catan now. I was taught by Ethan, and now I want to play it. So we have played 4 games now? Yeah, we played 4 games of Catan now. We played two games on Christmas Day, I think, a game on Boxing Day, and a game after Boxing Day. 3 of those games were 3-player games, and my sister won all of them. Just a clean sweep of all of us. And then the 4-player game, I won. So I'm not completely undefeated at Catan. However, I am undefeated in 4-player games, which I think is how the game's intended. At least I'm going to claim that. So still somewhat undefeated, but I love that game. That is a super fun game. It's going to become like a fun family game for us. My dad's not really into the board game, so he didn't play with us. He watched for a bit, but he went off and did other things. But the 3 of us, and then our Aunt Linda, whenever she comes over, I think she'll play with us. So I love that game. It's a ton of fun, lots of versatility, and I don't really care about winning. Like just playing the game is fun, which means you know it's a good game. Winning is like a fun like side aspect of Catan. Then other than that, like we've been kind of just chilling at home. Haven't really been going out or anything. We walked the dog. We watched Sarah's dog for 3 days, Boxing Day to the 28th. Her dog Libby was hanging out with us. Her and Harley were just having a great time. Harley's my dog. They were best buddies. Libby's just a complete sweetheart and was just immediately like made herself at home and like warmed up with us and was cuddling with us all the time. She slept with me in my bed, and that was awesome. Yeah, just a great time having Libby. Harley was sad to see her go. We were all sad to see her go, but that was nice. And then since then, yeah, today, that brings us to today, which I walked the dog with my dad out at, well, it doesn't matter where we walked. You guys won't know anyways. And then I spent the rest of the day painting. And I was debating, like, do I want to do this podcast tonight? I've got a good, my excuse was going to be, oh, sorry, I don't have, like, the right setup at home. I was going to text Reed and Hannah and just message you guys and be like, hey, if the podcast didn't come out tomorrow, would you be upset? And then I was like, no, Aaron, we're not making excuses on the last podcast of the year. This is, you promised that you would do a podcast every week. You're going to do a podcast every week. It's not like it's hard to, my one excuse was going to be, I want to use the green screen. I was like, oh, I don't know how to use the green screen yet, so I can't, like, edit the podcast, so I can't record it. And then I decided I'm just going to use the black one, and that'll be it. Slow down, Aaron. Slow down. And then, yeah, after finishing my painting, that felt good. Then I was like, okay, you know what? Doing stuff feels good. So here we are. Yeah, that's about it for my holidays. Hopefully you guys had an enjoyable, magical Christmas and whatever other holidays are going on. Kwanzaa, Ramadan, Hanukkah. Is Kwanzaa and Hanukkah, they're not this, are they both Jewish holidays? I don't know. I'm just gonna steer away from that one. I'm gonna move on. And now we're abruptly back in the video podcast as I just paused and stared at myself for a while in the camera. Yeah, we're looking forward to, we, as in, I'm talking about myself in the third person. Is that the third person? We? Or is that second person? Or is that, I don't know which person I was talking about then. But myself is looking forward to 2022. I've got a lot of optimism and like a lot of plans and goals. Thinking about going back on Monday. I was like, always like, oh man, I gotta go back to work on Monday. Gotta go back to the grind. But it's not anymore. I'm going back to making videos and recording podcasts and learning how to edit things. And I will have to start earning some money somehow. But like, it'll be on my own terms. Maybe like an Uber Eats or Instacart. And then I really gotta focus on putting in a high effort in 2022. And I think that will translate. I've been off the wacko tobacco since I left Waterloo. I threw it all in the trash before I left, so I'm going back to none. I've been clean for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a week. We're a week off weed. Look at that. Week off weed, like 130 days off booze or something. This is the most sober I've been in a long time. A long, long time. So we're getting rid of the vices one by one, which is the method. I think that's the way to do it, is to slowly eliminate your addictions, rather than I was doing the shotgun approach of I'm just gonna go cold turkey on everything. I'm gonna not touch weed, not order fast food, and not jerky or stay up late. I'm not gonna do any of that. And then as soon as one domino falls, because they're all connected, they all collapsed. But now that I've separated those dominoes, one falls. Doesn't even matter. I eat junk food. Look at this. Talking about junk food. 2 pounds, I think. 850 grams. That's about 2 pounds, right? 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So I'm assuming that's like a 2 pound chocolate bar, and it's pretty much still full. I've eaten one row of it. I brought this down to munch on in case I play games later with the guys. Eat a little sweet treat for myself. If you didn't see that, it's a 1 pound Cadbury Dairy Milk bar that I just held up in the camera. And I was saying before that, my vices. I've been trying to work out a bit like getting a hold of all my addictions is like trying to gather beach balls on a windy day. Like you get a couple in your hand, and one slips out and it blows all the way, and you gotta chase it, and then the others, as you're chasing that one, the other ones blow out of your hands. You're like, oh shit. I feel like that'd be like I thought about making a video about like that, where I just buy a bunch of beach balls and like write on them like booze, weed, jerking off, junk food, like just on black marker, and then like film that. I don't know if I'd ever actually do that, but if you guys think that's a good idea, let me know, and I'll do it. And if you don't think it's a good idea, keep your mouth shut, and I'll still do it. Yeah. So we're going into the new year, going back to the house, stone cold sober. The fog has lifted. My mind's feeling good, feeling enthusiastic, optimistic, energetic. I'm not going to reinstall Uber Eats when I get back there, no matter how much they beg and plead me to. Not doing it unless I work for Uber Eats. Then in that case, I'm going to allow myself to install Uber Eats because I think it's necessary for the job. Which I was thinking it wouldn't it be funny if like Ethan and Martin order Uber Eats and like my phone just buzzes like, oh, sorry, I gotta go pick up your food. Be right back. I thought that'd be funny if we're like watching a movie and then you guys just paid me to go eat your food. Suckers. That'd be gold. That would be really funny. That'd be so, honestly, that might be the funniest thing that ever has happened. Wouldn't that? I think so. Wow. No, I think the funniest thing. I heard this joke. I didn't hear it. I read this joke on Reddit. It's like in the stand-up comedy subreddit, which I don't know why I'm a part of it. There's really no good advice. I think I'm paranoid that my mic's not plugged in. I don't think people who are in a subreddit for stand-up comedy would probably give good stand-up comedy advice. I think if you're good at stand-up comedy, you're not on a subreddit. You're just out doing stand-up comedy. So there's a lot of like open micers like giving advice. Like, I've been doing this for 3 years, open mic, and I know what it's all about. And like, if you were a good comic, you wouldn't still be open micing after 3 years. Oh, you would be. Now look at me being the expert now on comedy who's never done it, talking about how these guys don't know comedy. Yeah, look at me. Look at this guy on my high horse. Let me grab a step ladder to get down from this high horse. What was I saying before this? I don't remember. Oh, the joke. Someone said like, "What's a joke that never fails?" or something like that, or is like, "What's your corniest joke?" And the joke was, "I think my duck dealer is addicted to quack." I think my duck dealer is addicted to quack. Oh, I love that one. Although that, I didn't look like I loved it on camera there. That felt a little forced. I do think that joke's really funny, by the way. I do. I think it's very, it's just so bad, it's funny. Yeah. Should we go to the notes? It seems like I'm scrambling here. Oh, you know what? We talked about disgruntled last week and learning words, and I did learn something just before doing this podcast when I was sitting in the bathtub listening to the It's Always Sunny podcast with Charlie Day, Rob McElhaney, and Glenn Howerton. Really funny podcast if you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Even if you don't watch it, I think it's funny because they barely talk about the show, honestly. It's like they talk about little instances of the episode or like a little behind the scene things. Then the rest of it's just like three guys, like three best buddies, honestly, like just bantering back and forth and being funny. So it's really entertaining. A good listen. They're like half hour, 40 minutes each. It's a real good time. But I just learned that Chuck and Chaz are short forms for the name Charlie. I never knew that. I never realized Chaz, that they got to Chaz from Charlie. I don't know what. I thought Chaz was almost like a standalone name, honestly. Or maybe Chaz came from Chads. Oh. I've been editing these podcasts less and less. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Taking out a lot less. Last week, I know there's like some big no snorts in there that I saw in the video podcast. And I'm like, it didn't sound that abrupt on the podcast watching me do it. Because I didn't want to cut the video because I was just purely lazy. And then I meant to go back and edit it out in the audio version. But then I didn't edit the audio version. I was like, hey, you know what? The video sounded fine. I'm sure this audio one's great. I'm sure there's no problems here. And just threw it up there on a whim. Slapped the outro on it. And that was it. That one might have to get out. But I was talking about Chaz. Yeah, Chaz. I didn't know that. I guess now thinking about it, Chuck. I know Shaq always calls Charles Barkley Chuck. So I guess maybe I did know that. But I never really clued in that you could call people Charlie Chuck. Which I don't actually know if I know any Charlies personally. I don't think I do. But that's interesting that you can get Chuck and Chaz, Charles. That's a very versatile name, Charlie. You've got to be pretty. You can be pretty smart with naming your kid because there are some names that get those like alternates out of it. You can get like 4 or 5 names out of like one name. Like my dad's name is Jim. He can go by James or Jimmy. Or like, Jonathan gets John or Johnny. William gets Will or Bill. Andrew gets Andy, Andrew, and Drew. Which I was thinking about this. If your name is Andrew, right? And you go by Andy, I don't think you can just abruptly go from Andy to Drew. Even though like it's if within your right because you've gotten those 3 names at birth and you're like you can go by each one, it's too jarring to go from Andy straight to Drew. You know what I mean? You've got to have some time in between as a mediary, as Andrew, to get people accustomed to it. Because I think there's too much of a difference between Andy and Drew. If that makes sense. Like if one day I'm calling you, hey, what's up, Andy? You go, no, it's Drew now. Like those names aren't even connected. Like they don't even start with the same letter. Like I don't understand how you get Drew from Andy. But if you go, hey, actually, I'm going by Andrew now. I'm like, oh, okay, let's go to Andrew. And then 2 weeks later, he goes, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go to Drew. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll call you Drew. That's fine by me. I think that's the progression you have to take. But you can't just jump Andy to Drew. If there's any Andys out there and you're thinking about making that move, you gotta put that middle step in there. I'm sorry. And this is coming from guy Aaron. I don't have any secondary names. I got nothing. I had to start calling myself the Trash Man because I was so desperate for a nickname. And I stick to the Trash Man. That is 2022 is gonna be the year of the trash. The year of trash. It's gonna be a trash year. Be trashy, people. Get trashy. I tried to write a punchline about that thought. I think the punchline was I don't know, I would have gone into like that whole bit, and then I would have gone like and Jim gets a James, I have it written down here actually. Jim gets a James, Andrew gets an Andy, and Richard gets a Dick, and that was the punchline. That was gonna be the end of my hypothetical bit if I ever did that on stage. Sorry, video listeners. The camera shut down again. I think my UPS port, my USB port. There's been a lot of beer spilled on this computer over the past like 4 years, so it's in a little rough shape. I did give it like the first wipe down ever when I moved back here. I just took a cloth to it. Like there was old stains on it. It looked gross. It almost looked like someone peed on my computer, which I never would have done. Never. I did one of my low moments when I was drinking. I did wake up one morning, check my drawer, and I think I talked about this. It was all wet and smelled like pee. So I was assuming that I peed in it because I don't think Harley could have gotten up that high. I had lots of other stuff to talk about. I don't know how long this episode is going to be. It's a different one. I'm very close. I'm not in a very comfortable position. That's what I meant to say. If you see me when I back up, I hit the black screen. I'm right up on it because that's the only way I could set it up so that it perfectly covers the entire frame. So my belly is just pushed right up against the desk here. Oh, my new YouTube algorithm. I never talked about that. That's been on the list for a while. So as you all know, I have a YouTube channel called Aaron the Brock. And lately I have been watching more YouTube videos on that one, which is a bit of a pain in the tuchus because my other YouTube, like my personal YouTube account, I guess yeah, Aaron the Brock's my business account. On my personal account, Aaron Brock, I'm on my sister's YouTube Premium plan, so it's like ad-free YouTube, which is sick because YouTube pumps in so many more ads now. It's absurd. So if I watch on that one, it's all ad-free videos, but my algorithm is it's in shambles. It's terrible. What the stuff they recommend to me, it's all like super short, like Twitch clips of all these streamers that I don't even watch on Twitch. I only ever watch like 30-second clips of them. So like I followed like all these storylines and Twitch drama through just like random 30-second clips that YouTube throws at me, dating from like 2 years ago to today. And then it's like a bunch of like quick gaming videos and stuff like that. It's all stuff I don't really want to watch. So I was excited for Aaron the Brock because it's like I got a fresh, clean slate. This YouTube has no idea what I watch. And like I've set it up in such a better way now. Like all the videos on this account are so much better and like more entertaining to me, and like I'm not like scrolling forever trying to find something good to watch. It's like the first 3 videos I'm probably gonna watch all of them. They're all like creative videos and like people creating things. I watched a video yesterday from this guy Fireball Tool. I've watched a bunch of his stuff. He like has like a machinery shop. And he just like builds things, talks about like cool tools and stuff I know nothing about. I own none of these things. I'm not a handy person, but like watching him do that stuff and like have all this knowledge. I watched how to remove a weld from the inside of a steel tube. When am I ever gonna need that? I don't have any of the tools he used to do it. I've never run into the issue like, oh man, I want to use this steel tube, but there's a weld line inside of it. I don't know how to get rid of it. I wasn't looking up the video as a solution to a problem. It just popped up and I'm like, I'm gonna watch the whole thing. It was super fascinating. And like I think that's also inspired me to like do more creative things and like stick to my path more, because I'm seeing like where it takes you. Watching videos of all these people that have these passions and hobbies and they're like sticking to it and like going through it, and like they're at the like apex of it. Like they're at the peak of their field and they're doing what they love. And they grinded it out for years to get here. I'm like, man, I could get there if I just put in the hard work, which is the opposite of how I've lived my life. I've always been like, how well can I do with as little effort possible? That's what I'm interested in. How high of a grade can I get on this test by studying the least as possible? Can I get an 80 by studying for like 4 hours? Some people are studying for weeks. But maybe I can squeak out a 70 if I just read the PowerPoint slides once the night before the test. That's how I went through University of Waterloo. It's just like I need to get a 55 average to get my degree. So why would I put in all this effort if I can just like squeak by the 55 and spend most of my time playing video games and sleeping in, you know? But now I'm changing my tune, and I'm like, hey, if I actually just put in high effort, I'm like a smart guy and like a kind of a talented guy, and if I put in high effort, it's a higher quality product, which is an equation that maybe you guys didn't notice, but I just oh, sorry. I'm not like phlegmy and like throughout the day, but as soon as I start doing the podcast, just everything clogs up. The waterfalls start going. I feel it in the back of the throat. God, I hate it. Well, I got water right here, actually. We'll take a hydration break. Everyone take a hydration break right now. It's important to stay hydrated and lubed up. If you're not on the big water bottle train, I suggest getting on that in 2022. Here you can see mine on my black screen behind me. But look at that thing. It's bigger than my head. It's like 2.7 liters. I should be drinking one of these a day. Maybe I'll put that on the list of things to do. But yeah, get yourself a big water bottle. It'll change your life. Not always having to go to the fridge and get a glass of water all the time. Or don't buy those plastic water bottles either. Get off that. Get off that right now. You're doing yourself a disservice. Go on Amazon or go to your local family water bottle supply store. Get yourself a big black water bottle. A big black blotto. Yeah. I'm going back to the list because I forgot what I was talking about. Vegetables don't exist. Did you guys know this? Hopefully I didn't talk about this again. I'm going to get all my cliches out there. I think when I make merch for this channel, which, oh my god, the thought I want to talk about at the beginning of this podcast, I'll get back to the vegetables thing. I was thanking you guys for like 25 viewers. And the thing I wanted to talk about for that, though, that in my head, I was segueing to it. Because like when I'm driving around in my car, I talk to myself. I think lots of us do. Or like when I'm alone, I think to myself and I make myself laugh. And then I think, hey, this would be a really good topic for the podcast. But the problem is when I'm thinking it to myself or saying it to myself out loud in my car, it's like happening organically and I'm saying it in a very natural manner. But then trying to recreate that on the podcast, it comes off awkwardly and then I feel stupid doing it. And then it doesn't really like deliver well. And I think that's kind of like the whole purpose of stand-up comedy is taking a well thought out thought and make it sound like you're just coming up with it on the spot. So hopefully, doing this podcast comes up with so many skills for me. It's incredible. It's made me a better person. I think. Sorry, I'm just playing with my headphones right now. Really, really getting the dew going. My sister's cutting my hair tomorrow. She's a hairdresser, if you didn't know. So, getting a haircut in my parents' bathroom. Yeah, this podcast has been maybe the most instrumental thing. Just allowing me to like vent out my thoughts and also getting me comfortable talking. And also like if I say these things to the internet, I can say these things to a stranger. No problem. But yeah, 25 of you guys listen to this all the time. And I was thinking like the number hasn't grown at all. And that's because in the 4 months I have not advertised this thing in any way, shape, or form. There's no social media account for it. I don't tweet out new episodes. I don't do anything. It's so literally only people that know about it are going to find it. I don't think anyone's looking through podcasts alphabetically. Like, I'm going to find a new podcast. Let me search A to Z. And then they're going to see Air in, Air Out at the top. That's like why I named this thing Air in, Air Out. I think if this thing ever took off, I would probably drop the Aaron part and just call it Air Out. Hey, you want to come air out? You know? Yeah, so like that's I think that's gonna really change things. So when I start advertising this, maybe like at some point like pay for ads on Reddit or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. I don't know where the kids are these days, but I don't think kids are gonna listen to this. So yeah, the fact that 25 of you have stuck to it, and I think that it's the same 25 people because I haven't reached out to any outsiders. You know, I don't know why I want to go back just to tell you guys that. So let's go back to vegetables. Vegetables are not real. This was actually I think a TikTok I saw months ago that just has stuck with me. One of those things you learn that you just like, that's cool enough. So vegetable, if you don't know what vegetable means, it just means the edible part of a plant. So a vegetable is not actually like a thing. Like you don't hold up a thing and like this is vegetable. Vegetable is a way to describe it. But really, you're just saying, if you say this is a vegetable, you're really just saying this is edible. This is edible and it's from a plant. But really, if you think about like lettuce, it's not a vegetable, it's a leaf. And like other things, now I'm not gonna be able to think of a single vegetable. I'm like a celery is like a stalk or like a stem, you know? And then other things like seeds. So you're eating, they're different parts of plants, but vegetable just like encompasses all parts of plants that are edible. So maybe you didn't know that. Fruit, if you don't know, fruit just means it has seeds in it. A fruit-bearing plant. So like a cucumber is a fruit, actually. That's why tomatoes are fruits. Squash has seeds in it, I believe. So yeah, anything with seeds in it is a fruit. Vegetable just means edible plant part. And that is how you can diversify. Broccoli is just broccoli and cauliflower are like they're flowers. Yeah, cauliflower. So you're eating flowers. You're not eating vegetables. Well, they are vegetables, but they're more, saying it's a flower is more accurate than saying it's a vegetable. So there you go. So thinking about broccoli, I don't like broccoli. I don't like broccoli or cauliflower. And there are other foods that I've not liked in the past, and then I have like eaten it later in my life and be like, oh, I just convinced myself I didn't like it, and then just like shut this food off for me. Like anytime I see it, like, no, I don't like that. I'm not eating it. And it's purely like this, like a mental game I'm playing with myself of no, eat this food because you've told yourself you don't like it. And I think a lot of people, I get upset now because I'm like so high and mighty in my own mind about it. When other people don't like food, I'm like, you're just telling yourself you don't like it. Just try it and you'll probably like it. Like if you secretly like fed it to them, they'd probably like enjoy it. And then you tell them what was in it, and they're like, gross. Or if you're like, hey, there's mushrooms in this, they don't like mushrooms. They're like, no, it's disgusting, I can't do it. And they do take a bite and like, I think they're doing that to themselves. You know, that's my thought. I mean, there probably are some foods that people like physically, maybe they just don't agree with their taste buds. I'm sure that is a thing. But I think there's a lot of times that people like, maybe as they're kids, they had like a gross experience with it, and that just like put them off that food because every time they see it, it makes them think of that experience. Which, if you'd like a story about that, sorry, phlegm's creeping up. Here, phlegm at 12:08. That's not gonna help me because this is like the third video I'm recording, but this is gonna be gross. Oh, and I swallowed it too. I swallowed it right back down. I didn't spit it out. Yeah, I remember being at a babysitter's house. I must have been like 5 or 6, I want to say. And you know, we're at the lunch table, and I can't leave the table until I finish my vegetables. And I finished everything except for one piece of raw cauliflower. And I don't think I'd ever had cauliflower before, but in my head I'm like, I don't like this. I don't want this. My babysitter's like, you can't leave the table till you're done that cauliflower. I must have been nibbling on that cauliflower, just taking little teensy tiny bites on it for like an hour and a half. And I still vividly remember that in my head. And to this day, not touching cauliflower, purely because of that one moment. That one moment sucked so much. I'm just boycotting the flour for the rest of my life. Done with it. I will do like cauliflower in other forms where I don't really recognize it. I think it's just it's that shape of cauliflower that puts me off. Like cauliflower crust things, and like I'm fine with that. That's because that's not, in my eyes, that's not cauliflower. That's not the demon cauliflower that I know. I only know the flower as the power. Yeah, let's go back to the notes because I wasn't feeling that. I wasn't really feeling that. You guys? Sorry, I'm distracted. I shouldn't do that. I'm distracted by other things on my phone. Vegetables don't exist. We told you that. Periods versus wet dreams. This was a thought I had yesterday, or it must have been yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I was driving to go for a walk, and I was thinking about how women have periods, and that's like this is gonna be an Aaron's anatomy lesson of me not knowing anything of what I'm talking about, and just this could be entirely wrong. Just gonna state that right now. I know nothing about the female body. I know nothing about the male body, let alone the female body. But I think periods is your body like getting rid of all those old eggs that haven't been babies yet? I think that's what's happening, and it's like flushing them out. Like, okay, you're not using these. We're just gonna get rid of them. Then fine. And then they bleed for like 2 weeks, which sucks. Like, I feel for you, sisters. That's terrible. My 35% of my listeners that are females, I'm with you. I support you. Yes, when I was younger, I thought, can't you just like bleed it all out in one day and then just like you're good, And when I say by when I was younger, I mean like 2 years ago. I think I was going camping, and then like Sarah and Sana, our friends, were like going with us, and they were planning. I don't know if they were planning for the periods. I don't know. Maybe I was planning for the periods. And I was like, if it happens, just like, in the morning, just like drain yourself, and then you're good for the rest of the day. It's all gone. It's all out. And then now I learned it's like a slow trickling faucet. It's just constantly going until all the eggs are gone, I guess. And then you're good for another month. It happens every month. 2 weeks of every month. So that's like half your life. Is that true? Ladies, tell me. Is that true? Because if that is, that really sucks. And the reason I was thinking about this is because, guys, we also have to like get rid of not our eggs, but our fertilizer, our semen. Way better though, dude. It's just if we don't ejaculate. Oh, which I was thinking about this because this tuggy is like the next vice I gotta tackle, which the issue is not the act of doing it. The issue is what I'm watching while doing it, and that's gotta go away. I think it's more of a mental, get my brain on straight rather than like what I'm doing is natural. It's just what I'm watching is unnatural and how I'm getting there. But I don't want to talk about that. We're talking about the comparison. So like if I don't, excavate myself, then it's not like imagine we just came, we had a trickle of semen coming out for 2 weeks. Oh man, that would be brutal. Oh, that'd be awful. You gotta like stuff a cork in your dick hole just to stop it from coming out. But then how do you pee? Yeah, I mean, women, like, you guys got 2 holes, but I think, can you pee with a tampon in? Yeah, you can, right? What about a pad, though? Whenever I think of tampons, I'll be honest, I think of pads, which I think of, like that flex tape where he, like, slaps it on the tub of draining water. That's what I think of tampon pads. You slap it on there and it stops the bleeding. That's what I think of when I think of periods. Like that dude slapping flex tape on your vagina just to seal it up. And like, how did I get here? Corking your pee hole. This is not where I thought this podcast was going. Yeah, you'd have to like you're loading a like a musket, like jamming the cotton down your dick hole just to stop the flow of your 2 week flow of semen. We would not if that was the case. Like, I think it sucks for women, and that's why like they get emotional about it. I would be if I was bleeding for 2 weeks. I'd be having mood swings too. It's not their fault. They can't control it. But I mean, if I was coming for 2 weeks straight, would I be moody or would I be like in ecstasy the whole time, like, oh my god, and then the other 2 weeks we're not coming, we're grunchy and like we're just waiting for the period to come back. I can't wait for my period, man. I haven't come in so long, man. I'm just waiting for this period to come. I can't. Let's sync up, boys. Have our periods together. We're going on vacation. Let's plan our vacation around our periods. It'll be so sick, dudes. Just a bunch of dudes around high-fiving, just ramrodding cotton down their pee holes. That was not what I wrote down on my phone, by the way. The only thing I was thinking about was that, like, the thought I had was women have to go through 2 weeks of that stuff, whereas men, if we don't ejaculate and get rid of our loads, our stuff, our stockpile gets too high, our brain's just like, you know what, man? Hey, we don't need women. I gotcha. Tonight, I'm having sex with you. I'll take care of you. And then we just ejaculate while we're asleep. And we wake up and like, that's it. We're done. We're good. Process completed in 40 seconds. That's like all it took when I had my wet dream a month ago. It was like, yeah, 40 seconds, and it was awesome. It was sick. Like I told you, it was a little messy, but like I can clean that up. It's not like blood where it stains and stuff. Like semen, you don't even really have to clean it up. You just wipe it on the wall or wipe it on the curtains, and you're good to go. yeah, yeah, that's a complete thought right there. You guys are probably so glad you listen to this podcast. This is not the one you want to listen to with your family, though. People are fascinating. Let's go to a little uplifting topic after that. People are fascinating, and I don't really remember the people are fascinating part of this, honestly. I think I was more thinking about like people watching, and the second part of that was view the world as an alien, which is something I've been trying to do lately. I don't know if you've ever been like maybe having a really lazy, bad day. You're not doing much of anything. And sometimes when I've been doing that, I've been almost imagining like the view of myself, almost like if my soul were lifted up above my body, or like imagine there's a camera like just hovering above me, looking down at me. What do I look like? Like if you're watching the video, like I'm just lying in bed like this for hours. Like that's what our dogs see. Like just for hours on end staring at this little black rectangle doing nothing. And then I imagine that view of myself. I'm like, oh man, what am I doing? Like I should get up and do something. And then like seeing myself from that perspective, makes me want to get up and do something. And so like I'm trying to imagine myself like if an alien species came down and just like watched us, or if they are watching us through their like cameras or satellites. A lot of the stuff we do is probably just like super weird, even though to us we think it's like really normal and like this is just how we operate and do things. One thing is like all the noises, like we're constantly making noises. If you think about like, dogs, for example, dogs bark like sometimes throughout the day, but for the most part, dogs are silent. But humans, we're constantly like talking to each other and constantly making noise, all kinds, but like around the world, we're all making different kinds of noises. That's all. Everything about like language is just, it's just sounds we're making. And really it's the meaning behind the sound that's important. But so much like the word itself it doesn't mean anything. It's the meaning behind the word that has the impact. Like if I just say like Garblesnerd means nothing to you. It has no meaning. So you're like, you don't care about it. But if Garblesnerd meant something, like if it meant a quickly approaching gazelle. Oh, Garblesnerd. Guys, Garblesnerd. Like there's a gazelle coming right now. Like we gotta move on this. Now Garblesnerd has a meaning. It means something. This was supposed to be, I think, more profound than I thought it was actually gonna be. I don't know where I was really going with that thought. I was trying to get at something, and I don't know what it was. But I think maybe I'm trying to like communicate with people who like get upset when people speak another language, and I'm just trying to be like, hey, listen, all languages are just sounds. And I remember when I like realized that most languages were developed like independently of one another, so there's like really no direct translation from one language to another, which is why I've always like struggled to learn a language because I'm always like swinging it back to English. I've definitely talked about this on the podcast before. I know it. So we'll get off it quickly, but like you hear like people speaking in broken English, and you're like, you feel like in our heads it's like, oh man, they're just bad at the language. But really they're like trying to translate as much as they can from their language back into ours. And it's not like one to one. There's every word that they have. There's a word in the English language that's like the perfect definition. It's the same definition in each language. You just got to swap over the words. Like you got to like mix things around and it's like a puzzle trying to figure out how these languages communicate. And that's going to be a tough job. Like deciphering languages and figuring out like translators and stuff like that. Damn, that's a tricky feat. But yeah, people are fascinating. There's just like, it's so cool watching people do stuff and like people watching and seeing people interact with each other and like interact with animals and like the environment. And then everyone's got like different interests and like cool different things going on. Everyone's got an entire life going on. And you could just like, it would be cool just sitting back and watching them go through their lives and like, where are they going? What are they doing? That's like, people are the best, man. I love people. I think people think because I'm quiet, I don't like people, but it's the opposite. I love people. And I just want to like observe you guys and see what you're doing and just like smile to myself and be like, yeah, you go, people. You go. You do your thing. Yeah, I'm liking it. Whatever you're doing, whatever you got going on, I'm into it. Unless that thing is like kidnapping kids and stuff and like sending them to concentration camps. And then I'm not so much into that. But still fascinating that can be the same species as like Mr. Rogers. Hitler, Mr. Rogers, same species. Just different stuff going on in their lives that just led them in slightly different paths, you know? Yeah, people. I love people. I love people. Sure, I'm just going to keep going. I got one more thing. One more thing I want to talk about that I've written down. Bit of something that grinds my gears a little bit. Gets me going. It's some sayings. The first one I had written down is not the biggest, not the smallest. When people say, oh, I got a new house. Oh, describe it to me. Well, it's not the biggest, not the smallest. That does not describe the house to me at all. Because guess what? There's one house out there that's the biggest. Someone's got that record. There's one house out there that's the smallest. Someone else has got that record. So you're saying, minus those two houses, your house is one of those in between. So every house minus two, your house is like that one. Doesn't narrow it down for me whatsoever. Not the biggest, not the smallest. Okay, so infinity minus 2 is, there's not infinite houses. N minus 2 is what your house is like. Stupid. Don't say that. Never use that phrase around me. I'll get upset. The other phrase was, if I said no, I'd be lying. Why would you say that then? Just say yes. Why are you giving me a riddle just to get to yes? Yes it's the shortest. It's 3 letters, and instead you give me a sentence to say 3 letters. If I said no, I'd be lying. Are you a liar then? I don't know. Why not just say yes? Why are you giving me this long-winded explanation of yes? Yes, so concise and simple. Yes. Doesn't have to be yes. It could be two letters. Yeah. Or yeah. That's not even. No, it doesn't have to be a word. Words are just sounds. Yeah. It's the same as yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't have to open your mouth. You can nod. I'm nodding right now. If you're just on audio, I'm nodding. All those things work, and you chose to say, if I said no, I'd be lying. Don't do that, Deborah. I know someone said Deborah. Someone named Deborah has said that sentence, and I'm on to you, Deborah. So cut that shit out when you're around me. It's something I got caught with when I was working at Hewitt's, just so we can all come around. The joke all ends on me. I'm Larry David here. I'm the Larry David of Air in, Air Out. When I was working for Hewitt Sweet Corn, this guy comes up to me, which is a pretty common occurrence. Customers would usually walk up to the stand to purchase things. They wouldn't just like shout from a distance. I'm just like tossing corn at them into the trunk of their car. Like, you want a dozen? 1, 2, 3. No, they walked right up to me and talked to me, which was intimidating sometimes. It's scary. And he goes, "Hey, how long? When do you guys usually run out of corn?" And my response was, we got it till we don't, which, in my defense, is true. When we no longer have it, we don't have it anymore. That's a true statement. But he immediately called me on it. He's like, "Do you know what you just said? You said, I asked, when are you going to run out of..." I'm butchering this delivery. Let me recalibrate. So this guy walked up to me. He said, "How long do you guys have corn for?" And I said, "We have it until we don't." And he said back to me, "Do you know what you just said to me? You said you're no longer going to have corn when you don't have it. Do you think that really answered my question?" And I was like, no, it didn't." And he wasn't mean about it. He kind of chuckled. Like, so maybe a different answer would be better. And I said, "Okay, sure. August." That's not the answer I said. I don't know what the answer I said was. Now I'm at the point where I'm just making up the rest of the story because I don't remember it. So I'm just making up details because you guys weren't there either. But I don't know what I said. I'm just going to be honest. I have no idea. You ever hear your friends tell a story and you know for sure that's not what happened, but you don't want to be that guy that corrects them and go, "Actually, what happened was this." So I've got a pretty good situational memory. I'm pretty good at recalling what actually happened. I think I do though. Actually, there's no way for me to prove I actually know what's happening in these events. I feel like I know enough of the details about these events when I'm describing them that I'm right. And other people are wrong, but yeah, I guess I don't actually know. I can't confirm. I can't go back and fact check myself unless these events were videotaped. But at least now, I guess on the podcast, I can. You can fact check me if I've said stuff before, which I'm worried about because this podcast is now a record. Everything I say is now a record that could possibly be used against me in the future, or this could discredit. If I say in the future, no, I never talked about periods. I would never talk about periods on my podcast ever. People are yeah, actually you did on episode, what freaking episode is this? 17? Damn, I wish we ended on an even number. I should have planned that out. We're hitting on episode 17. That's the last one of 2021. Yeah, that's an ugly number. I should have ended on episode 21. I should have started 4 weeks earlier, which means I would have had to start in August. Oh well. Where was I? I had no idea. I was talking about Hewitt's. I was talking about. Oh yeah, I can't confirm if I'm right about this. I think I'm right though. As far as I know, I'm correct on the details of these past stories that happened to me. However, I will add that I don't think stories have to be entirely accurate when you're telling them. I think there is more value in making them entertaining, as long as like the overall plot and like what generally happened is the same as like what actually happened in reality. I don't care if you're changing the dialogue or like the order of events and specifics. I mean, sometimes some in like a court of law, sure, that matters. Or if you're like using it to discredit someone or like talk down on someone, then I don't think you should be editing your story. But if the point of your story is just to purely be funny, I think the details are like you can sweep those under the rug. I don't really care. So that's why I don't correct people. Like they're telling a story to be entertaining. The exact happenstance of that occurrence. That's quite a sentence I just spit out there. The happenstance of that occurrence does not have to be factually accurate. Yeah. I no longer know how long this podcast has been, and since I'm down to one monitor at home here, I don't know if Audacity is still recording. So let's record it, because I did listen back to the video audio on this, and it sounded like crap, because I think it recorded through my camera. But the podcast is still recording, and we're at like an hour. That's perfect, actually. That's really right where I want to be. So this is it. This is it for 2021. What a year it has been for me. Let me think back to January of 2021. What was I doing in January? I was working at RJ Burnside. I was living here at home. I was not drinking. I was still off booze. I was probably smoking a lot of weed though. I was in a relationship. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I couldn't tell you if I was like I was probably leaning more towards like doing comedy, like stand-up comedy things. I don't think the podcast was really on the radar at all. YouTube's always been on the radar. I've been writing notes down for like YouTube video ideas for like 6 years now. So that's always been like somewhere in the back of my mind. But yeah, this year, it's been quite the year. I don't really remember, honestly, the start of the year. I couldn't tell you much of anything that happened. If there was a major event that happened to me in my life, I couldn't tell you. If someone reminded me, though, I could recall the details because I got a great memory for that. But as far as like accessing those memories right now off the cuff, couldn't tell you. The summer sucked. Summer went through a breakup. Went through a pretty tough time, kind of figuring things out. But then I remember May 2 for a weekend. No, it wasn't May 2. Was it May 2 for a weekend? Yeah, I think, that was when I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take the leap, and I texted Ethan, like, hey, I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna take that jump, and I want to move in with you and Martin when you guys start this YouTube thing and move into the new house in September. And he's like, that's awesome, dude. And we totally stole the house. I don't know if I ever told that story, but we totally stole the house we're living in from like this other girl, Kendra. She, I guess she and our landlord Chad, we're talking. They're ready to move in September. Like the video tour we saw, for the house was Chad giving the video tour to like the girl. Like we saw like her video, like FaceTime video or whatever, would pop up occasionally throughout the video, and like her asking questions. And like I think they were all like ready to go, and they were just waiting on one person, I think, to sign the lease or something. Like one person was late, and Ethan's like talking to Chad like, we will sign the lease right now. And Chad's like, okay, yeah, I guess so. We got 3. We're older students. They were probably like, they're undergrads still probably. So I think the fact that like it was 3 guys who were supposedly all employed, not one of us though, we didn't mention the fact that one of us was quitting our job in September to become a podcaster and YouTuber. But I think he saw us as like 3 mature guys, which we are. We are losers on drugs, but we are mature guys, and we are well behaved, and we take care of the house now. We're not like the degenerates we were back in undergrad. So yeah, we totally like swooped in, stole this house from this girl and her friends, because that one friend that was late on the lease, she probably got roasted. She probably got it. 'Cause we just stole this house. But yeah, I remember it was like May 24 weekend. I think I texted Ethan and Sarah like, "Hey, I'm doing it. I'm going for it." And then had to have a really scary call with my managers and tell them the plan. Tell them that, yeah, it's not working for me. I am in 3 months. I am going off on my own. Oh, I remember the shakes I had like that Monday. Like, oh man, I was so scared. My heart was racing. And then as soon as I said it and got it out, I went, whoa, I felt way better. And then yeah, things started picking up a bit, and then they started going downhill again. Cause also May 24 weekend. These were not correlated, by the way. May 24 was also the weekend that I decided I can drink again after 6 months of not drinking. I'm like, oh yeah, a couple beers be fine. And then that just like a couple beers turned to a couple more beers, turned to like a case of beer, turned into like not in the one weekend, but like every weekend would just like get gradually worse and worse and worse until I was back to like, I talked about this in the alcohol podcast, which no one liked, by the way. It might be the worst received podcast I have out there. It got more views than other ones, but like in terms of the ones surrounding it, like of those like first 5, it was by far the worst, which was when like other people were like checking it out that have since lost interest in this podcast. And I think I agree. It was a pretty morose and like melatonin episode. Melatonin? Is that a word? Melatonin? Was I trying to say melatonin? I don't know what melatonin is. Monotone. I think monotone was the word I was going for. Yeah, and then like my drinking was like, it was getting up there and then by August, I had that awakening of yeah, I gotta stop this. I got a problem. And then we got off that. Even September was still kind of like a rough, like kind of it was a bumpy ride in September. Not really knowing what I was supposed to do. Was really overconfident before I moved in, like thinking things were just gonna fall together and just happen. Not realizing that it takes hard work and sticking to things. So there's a lot of thoughts in September of, oh my god, I've made a huge mistake. I'm so stupid. I'm never gonna accomplish anything. And then slowly, as I did more podcasts and got more comfortable talking, things just started falling into place. And Ethan and I kind of got a better schedule and getting going. We started doing our yogas in the morning, waking up on time. I got that job for a bit. Things just started. I started doing things, and that's what changed things. So as I'll repeat myself. I'm a broken record, but an object at rest will stay at rest. An object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by another force. But yeah, if you feel like your life's not going anywhere, maybe look at it and see what are you putting into your life. What are you doing to inspire change in your life and getting things going? Are you doing things to improve your situation, or are you just thinking about how much better your life would be if you're at these different places and spending a lot of more time just like feeling bad? And I know it's tough. I know those are tough thoughts, and it's a tough mental headspace to be in, and it's really hard to like break out of that and like confidently do things. I've been there. I totally understand, and I sympathize with you. But just start doing little things every day. Just little tiny motions. Jordan Peterson says, clean your room. That's a great first step. It's just clean your room. Get your little space organized, and that'll do like so many things. Like you'll feel so much better. Like after you finish cleaning it and like looking at it, like, wow, I did that. I did something. It feels good, and it'll make you want to do more. And then waking up every morning in a clean room with like a clean mind, it does wonders for you. So I can't recommend it enough. But that's what I've learned over this year, and I think I'm going into this new year. I went to a lot of New Year's, not even knowing I was going to New Year's because I blacked out at like 10 p.m. Waking up feeling like crap, just going through the motions of life and not really living. And like this year, I'm going in really strong. I'm going in really optimistic and really looking forward to things. And I think it's going to be an awesome year. I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen. I'm really looking forward to you guys seeing it and like coming along with me and bringing on more people onto the Air and Air Out train. I'm always going to love like you 25 people. I'm always going to love you guys. You were the heroes of my podcast. You're the reason that I still do this every single week, and I've stuck with it because I know people are listening. I know people are counting on me, and I feel comfortable talking to you guys, and it's awesome. So I can't thank you enough. Yeah, changed my life, changed my entire outlook on things, and yeah, 2022 is gonna be an amazing year, and I hope it is for you guys too. Hopefully, maybe something I've said in this podcast over the past 4 months has resonated with you, gotten you to change some things in your life. Maybe it hasn't, but either way, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you guys next year. If I'm not gonna do the joke in the next podcast. Haven't talked to you guys since next year. I promise you. Right now, I'm not making that joke. So, all right, guys, take it easy. We'll see you then.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Now take what you learned and have a great day. Damn, it feels good to air out.